Good evening, South Tama Trojan fans. Welcome to another night of basketball here at the STC Roundhouse. I'm Darvin Graham. Next to me is Hunter White, and we are with you for this evening. I'm going to check in with Hunter. How are you doing tonight, Hunter?
I'm doing pretty swell. It's great to be in the Roundhouse once again. Got a great matchup tonight.
We're just getting finished on the court with the JV game here. South Tama hosting the Mount Vernon Mustangs in WAMAC East versus WAMAC West conference action. So far, these sub-varsity games have been very much in favor of the Mustangs. This one has 41 seconds left, and you can see Mount Vernon leading 46-29 over the JV team here at South Tama. So some sub-varsity stuff to finish up, and then we're going to have our warm-ups and varsity coming your way around 7:15. Tonight we have the debut of the STC Pep Band. We got those students kind of getting ready on the north end, south end of the gym. And we are ready to go.
Always looking forward to these matchups, especially with conference play underway. It's always so exciting that you got a little something more to play for instead of just pride on the line, you know. Everything that you do in these games always going to go towards that very elusive win column there in the conference standings. So hopefully our boys can get out a win tonight, and if not, hopefully they can keep it competitive, and it should be a barn burner, I surely hope.
Yeah, we've got two teams that are kind of new look in a lot of ways. A big senior class that graduated off of the Mount Vernon team last year. They've got some key returners and some weapons that are keeping things locked and loaded for them. South Tama, meanwhile, a completely new coaching staff, some new players that have come in after a year or two away from the program and that has sort of revitalized the South Tama boys varsity program a little bit. They've got a big senior class this year and got a really exciting win against Center Point Urbana last week here at home at the Roundhouse. That was a exciting buzzer beater win, courtesy of Cade Rosenberger with 1 second left on the clock. If you weren't there for that one, that was an exciting one to be a part of. And the Trojans were on the road last to Marion, and that was a completely different story. Marion near the top of the WAMAC East standings, and they held the Trojans to under 20 points, and it was a double-digit victory for Marion. So South Tama looking for a little get-back action here tonight at home, and we'll see how they kind of come into things with a 1-2 record. A reminder, if you'd like to keep up to date on what's going on with the girls' game over in Mount Vernon, you want to look for Go MV Stangs, like Mustangs, at Go MV Stangs on YouTube, and they'll have their live broadcast of the South Tama Mount Vernon girls varsity game. That is set to start shortly, so that's getting ready to go, and we'll kind of check in with them at halftime and get you some scores updated as well. And we are going to be back after a moment. We're going to have a word from our sponsors. Thanks to all of our local businesses that are partnering with us this winter season. We really do appreciate it, and we will be back with a breakdown of this matchup between Mount Vernon and South Tama after this. Welcome back live to the STC Roundhouse. We are about 8 minutes away from tip-off here between South Tama and Mount Vernon. Darvin Graham and Hunter White with you on the call this evening. Thanks to all of our local business sponsors that have sponsored our winter coverage this year. And let's talk a little bit about this matchup between South Tama and Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon coming in 2-2 overall. They started their year with 2 losses and non-conference losses, I should say. The first 2 games of the season was a 53-43 loss against Wahlert Catholic on December 1st. The next day, they took on Cedar Rapids Jefferson and lost 51-44 on December 2nd. However, the next week kind of goes by, and they get a couple of wins in the WAMAC Conference. Their 3rd game of the season was a 55-45 win at Benton Community. And then on December 8th, they got a 62-42 win over Vinton Shellsburg. So that brings them to 2-2 overall. They're coached by head coach Derek Roberts. He is in his 2nd year of the head coaching position with the Mustangs. He took over for Ed Tim in 2022, and Tim was a longtime coach, brought a title to Mount Vernon in 2012. Roberts, meanwhile, was an assistant for Tim for 3 years and has had assistant positions with Cedar Rapids Kennedy, Ankeny Centennial, and some head coaching experience at Makokata and Iowa City High. So kind of a journeyman coach, even though he's a younger guy. And he's kind of coming in, getting ready to retool this Mount Vernon Mustangs roster. The Mustangs graduated 3 starters off of last year's roster. Brady Erickson was one of the leading scorers for the Mustangs last year. Also, Zach Fall and Jensen Meeker graduated off that starting lineup. They were 3 of a total of 12 seniors from last year's Mount Vernon roster. And the team is also without Evan Brossi, who was started 10 games for the Mustangs last year as a junior, and he was the along with those 12 seniors that graduated. There was only one underclassman that broke through into the varsity roster last year. It was a sophomore, Joe Briesmeister, and we'll see him tonight. He's kind of one of the interior threats, standing 6'6". He's now a junior, and he'll be along with Joey Romberg kind of in that post position for the Mustangs. And so they kind of return a couple of experienced players. Joey Romberg, he was a starting quarterback for the Mustangs football team. They made their way all the way into the quarterfinals last year, or this past season. And he's kind of getting some D1 attention on the football side of things, and coming in averaging 10.5 points per game, and had 7.9 rebounds per game last year. Just kind of a solid contributor as a starter, as a junior last year, along with Briesmeister and sophomore Kellen Haverback. He's done some scoring and a lot of three-point shooting for the Mustangs so far in their first 4 games. He's a sophomore and is one of the underclassmen that looks to be a contributor for Mount Vernon this year. And then rounding out the starters for the Mustangs, Cooper Parks, Gabe Fairchild are the other 2 that are going to see action. Those 2 had been mostly role players, had appeared in 10 games last year, but did not really make much impact as far as box score goes. And Hunter, if you want to talk a little bit about the South Tama Trojans, where they've kind of been, and some of the key players for STC.
Absolutely. So South Tama's going in 1-2 for this matchup against Mount Vernon. Currently led by Cade Rosenberger, senior. But Tommy Tynisma has been the breakout star. He's a senior with 12.8 points per game, and thanks to the three-point shooting from the South Tama Trojans, they were able to get that clutch final 3 to win the game against CPU. Yeah. So going in tonight, they have lost to Sadell 54-45. Very close fought match. Couldn't get it done. And last week, they traveled to Marion, where they lost 47-19.
What was interesting, I looking at the box scores and kind of setting up South Tama's players, you've got Tynisma, who had that big scoring effort in that Sadell game. And he's had solid performance. He had a good night as well against CPU. But you look at Jeremy Dolash, starting at the 4 position for STC. He's not, by total, a leading scorer, but he has led the team in 2 different occasions. He had 10 points against CPU, along with, I think, along with Tynisma. And the last game against Marion, he had 9 points to lead South Tama. So in 2 different instances, Dolash has been a key offensive weapon, even though his volume or total output has really not gotten him, to the top of the total stats list. So I think he's a key component tonight. He's a big body underneath, maybe just a little undersized at that 4 as far as a length, height and length, but he's a senior, tight end, big athletic body, and if he and Bridgewater can really establish themselves underneath, I think they're going to have a taller matchup against Mount Vernon tonight compared to what they saw against CPU in that win last week. I think they're going to see 6'6" with Briesmeister, 6'3" with Romberg, and so it'll be a test for them for sure underneath.
Well, I completely agree with you, Darvin. And, for the keys of the game, that kind of mentions like the height game, the rebound game is going to be so critical if South Tama wants to come and get a win. In my notes, I have here Joey Romberg, the senior, has 8 rebounds a game, which is a lot considering, he's coming in from that guard forward position.
Yeah.
So they got to beat out Romberg and, of course, Briesmeister in the paint, get those rebounds, and work inside the paint. Make them tired, make them kind of miss those shots, and ultimately, if they can do all those things, you could open up Rosenberger and Tynisma from the three-point line,
right?
Which they've been hot for all 3 games, for relatively speaking. And if they can get those 3 things done, I think South Tama can pull out a very winnable game today.
All right, let's take a look at your starters, and we'll kind of be competing a little bit for our audio as they get announced on the PA system, but we'll just go ahead with them anyway. Your starters for the Mount Vernon Mustangs. First up is going to be number 1, 5'10" senior Gabe Fairchild. He's at the guard position. Then it's number 3, 6'1" senior Cooper Parks. At the swing position, number 11, Kellen Haverback. He stands 6'1". He's a sophomore and the only underclassman on this starting lineup. Haverback did not appear in the varsity lineup last year. Kind of looking at his profile through the first 4 games, he looks like a 3-point shooter. He looks like a ball handler. He's led the team in steals and assists and also 3-point attempts. So not really broken through as a scoring leader yet, but he has been taking a lot of shots. So we'll see how he comes out against South Tama tonight. Then at the 4, it is number 24, 6'3" senior Joey Romberg, and rounding out the lineup for the Mustangs, number 32, 6'6" junior Joe Briesmeister. And now for your STC Trojans. At the point position, South Tama is going to be led by senior guard Cade Rosenberger. Rosenberger has struggled at times to get his shot going. He only had 5 points in that CPU win, but the last 3 came at the most critical point with 1 second left. He drilled a 3-pointer from the far corner and got South Tama the win in that one. He's a leader, returner, and a team captain as well. Then it is number 3, senior forward Tommy Tynisma. Tynisma coming back to the program after a year away. We've seen his athleticism. He's a D1 athlete headed to Iowa State next year to run cross country and track. And I think the key for Tynisma is going to be to limit his fouls, to just kind of play within himself. I think he's maybe tried to use his athleticism to kind of push the game forward, but that's gotten him into some foul trouble in a couple of different games, and the turnovers as well. He's leading the team, or at least the starters, in turnovers as well. So Tynisma's been a ball handler. We'll see if he can get his 3-point shot going tonight. Next up for the Trojans, number 5, senior guard Daniel Weiss. Weiss, another one of the captains for the Trojans, was a returner last year. And then number 23, freshman Emerson Bridgewater. Big body down underneath, and rounding out the lineup for the Trojans, number 33, senior Jeremy Dolash. We will be right back. We're going to pause for the national anthem, and we'll be back with a tip-off after this. Welcome back, live from the SCC Roundhouse. We're ready for tip-off here between South Tama and Mount Vernon. South Tama 1-2, coming off of a double-digit loss against Marion. And Mount Vernon coming in with a 2-game win streak, looking for their third WAMAC victory. At the center for South Tama, it's going to be Emerson Bridgewater, and he's going to be tipping off against Joe Briesmeister.
Excited.
And we're off and running. Mount Vernon starts with it. Kellen Haverback, the sophomore, dishes it out to Romberg. Back to Haverback with the point. Fairchild to the corner. Romberg pumps inside through 2 defenders. And it'll go out of bounds. Last touch by Mount Vernon.
I mean, that was a great perimeter play there for South Tama. They were able to get the 3-2, able to work around that ball that kind of went around back and forth, and that was a good stop.
Here's South Tama's first look. Ty Nisma at the point. Rosenberger guarded tightly by Parks. Dolash swings it over to Ty Nisma. A lot of perimeter movement so far. Rosenberger stops it up near the free throw line. Bridgewater, nice move inside. I think he just caught the corner of his eye. He had an open look, and hey, let's go get it.
Gonna dish it out to Fairchild, top of the key to Parks. He'll drive in. Rosenberger, or excuse me, Weiss to block it out. Now over to Haverback. Dribbled out by Parks. He'll take it from the paint, passes it back out, top of the 3-3, and that's
looking
good.
Shot there by Kellen Haverback.
His first points of the night. So Daniel Weiss is going to take it right-hand side, top of the key. Rosenberger is going to look, passes it back out to Dolash, Ty Nisma. Again, back at the key. Weiss and Rosenberger, good ball handling, just going through, passing, trying to look for an open look. And right as soon as I say that, the ball hit the shoe off of Daniel Weiss, and that's going to be a turnover.
South Tama just looks like the blood pressure's up a little bit, kind of in the top of their chest. Things are a little hurried. We'll see if they can settle down here. There's a nice attempt there by Cade Rosenberger, and that's just some of that, you know, kind of mental acuity to not commit that foul after you don't get what you're trying to go after with that steal. It was a good effort, but he gets the kind of ticky-tack foul, and it'll be Mustangs' ball. However, they will throw it away.
Yeah, Haverback just kind of threw it a little bit too high there for Romberg, and that's another turnover.
And Haverback goes to the bench, as does Fairchild, coming in now for the Mustangs. Number 5, Stratton Ellison. And number 4, Cole Thurn. Ellison a freshman, Thurn a junior. Trojans with the ball. Bridgewater so far has the points. There's a layup a couple minutes ago. Here's Weiss cutting into the lane. Dolash right into traffic, loses it. And Romberg picks it up. Trotting up the court. Parks. Briesmeister, the big 6'6" center. Out to Parks. He tries a 3, no good. And a whistle.
Over the top,
yeah, against Mount Vernon.
Yeah, Briesmeister just got his hand a little bit over there in front of one of South Tama's players, and that was a good call. So Rosenberger's going to take this one down the length, set it up, guarded there, and he'll take it with the shot.
Into a double team, it rims out of bounds, and South Tama will turn it back over. James Brandt checking in for South Tama, his first look. He's been the number 1 off the bench so far. He'll come in to spell Daniel Weiss. Cooper Parks goes to the bench for Mount Vernon. And
so Briesmeyer, he'll take it in. Pitches is out, corner shot.
This is Thurn, or excuse me, Stratton Ellison buries the 3-pointer.
Ellison, that was a good clean look and a good eye by Briesmeyer.
They go to Bridgewater down low. He kicks it out to Ty Nisma. Back inside. Plenty of bodies right in front of Emerson Bridgewater. Post spin move. Just couldn't get the little floater to drop. And a travel call.
Wow.
Mount Vernon will turn it over. Briesmeister didn't quite agree with the call there, but it'll give it back to STC.
That was a generous call, but he could have like held onto it, picked it up, but good call. South Tama gonna get an offensive motion going on.
Oliver Heinrichs coming in, 6'3" senior, checking in for Briesmeister. Romberg catches it underneath the hoop, covered up by Bridgewater, but Romberg able to body his way up and bank an easy one in.
Rosenberger, top of the key. He'll dish it out to Bridgewater. Passes out to Brandt. Dish back in, Bridgewater in the paint, gets it to go.
South Tama looking at that post opportunity. They've gone to Bridgewater last maybe 3 times down the court. We haven't seen much outside shooting yet, but I like to establish that inside game and then see where you go from there.
It's time 3 look for Ellison. This one doesn't go. He'll take it back out. Top of the key for Haverbach, Romberg, and Thurn. 3 shots good there for Haverbach.
Kellen Haverbach with 6 already early in the first period. And so far, the only, except for a bucket by Joey Romberg, it's been 6 by Haverbach, the sophomore, and 3 by Ellison, the freshman.
Wow, charge call there as Ty Nisma was dribbling in the paint, went for the length, right-hand layup, and, you know, that was a good plant by Mount Vernon, get that call. So, of course, you know, when you're going up like that, you kind of want to go off to the angle side, don't go full body, and especially since he was already set there 2 seconds beforehand, good call.
Thurn and Briesmeister check in for Romberg and Ellison. Mount Vernon back in their half court. Briesmeister working the high post, guarded by Bridgewater.
Haverbach is going to miss that, and that's going to be a foot race.
Passes into the backcourt. That'll be a turnover for the Mustangs, giving it back to South Tama. And South Tama trailing here 11-4, but Mount Vernon has not been the smoothest in their ball control here in this first quarter either.
Definitely sloppy turnovers, but Rosenberger 3. A little bit left.
Front of the rim, out of bounds. And Daniel Weiss will come in.
I've noticed there's not a whole lot of jousting at the for the rebounds. Yeah. It's either a clean shot or it just goes way out of bounds.
Trojans still trying to find a rhythm here. Haverback getting it up the court, a whistle.
And that is an out-of-bounds call. So looks like Thurn must have stepped out of bounds when he got the ball and didn't reestablish in play. So that's going to be another turnover.
Back to the Trojans. 2.5 on the clock, first quarter. A lot of ball movement here. Into the right side, another 3 for Rosenberger. This one's good.
How about that? Cade Rosenberger, bottom portion of the three-point line, gets it to go. And now with this, Haverback, that gets swatted away. Tommy Tynisma, and timeout called for South Tama.
Little heads-up play there. Rosenberger was trapped underneath the hoop, and South Tama calls timeout to save the possession. That was all Tommy Tynisma elevating and just getting his hand underneath over top of Kellen Haverback as he was trying to go up for a layup. And that's that athleticism. You know, it cuts both ways, and that time it's a really aggressive block.
Yeah, that was a good heads-up play, too. Of course, Haverback was aggressive driving into the paint. And like you mentioned, Darvin, it's a double-edged knife. And that time it was able to pay off. It could have just equally, you know, if you misguided that hand, I mean, we could be looking at a technical. But because it was a clean shot, pointed at the ball, good job, Tommy.
So again, a reminder, the girls game on the Go MV Stangs YouTube right now. That's just about 10 minutes away from tip-off over in Mount Vernon. If you want to check that out, look them up on YouTube.
And this is going to be a jump ball call as Rosenberger was kind of driving into the paint just a little bit, got double teamed up, tried to dish it out, and Tommy had to get the jump ball call, but possession arrow South Tama. And looking, Emerson Bridgewater is going to take it. Pass out top of the key to Weiss. Weiss will dribble left-hand side. Back out to Rosenberger, top of key. Going to be thinking about it. And that's that motion that I like to see, that you want to see. That's some good college ball right there. Free ball.
Bridgewater dishes it out to Rosenberger. Almost at the shot clock violation, but it'll be no good, and the Mustangs will come away with the rebound. Here's Cole Thurn into the lane, kicks it back out to Briesmeister. Stratton Ellison, the freshman. They go inside to Romberg. Double team. Thurn, a 3 off the back of the rim, and Bridgewater cleans it up. Trojans coming the other way. Here's Tynisma. Gets a screen out to Weiss. Rattles one off the front of the rim. And Romberg gets the rebound there. Under a minute to go. Mustangs pressing back up the court. They've led pretty much the whole way in this first quarter.
Here, Briesmeister in the paint. Didn't get that one to go.
And Rosenberger kind of snakes his way in there to get the rebound. 45 seconds. And there's Tynisma getting a look underneath.
Ellison's going to drive this one the distance out to Thomberg, top of key. Fairchild passes it back to Thurn. Ellison, they're kind of playing perimeter ball. They're going to be looking for this last shot here with 18 seconds, less than a second between the shot clock and the clock itself.
And now 10 seconds. Thurn into the lane. Forces the double team. Here's a 3 by Briesmeister. Another nice rebound by Cade Rosenberger. Last second heave down the court is no good, and South Tama narrows the deficit to 2 as we go to the second quarter. Trojans slowly but surely just kind of chipping away and trying to get themselves back into the game.
Yeah, that's the most important part about it, too. You know, when you go on the road to Marion, you only score 19 points, and here you're playing neck and neck with a hot Mount Vernon team with that 2-win streak, coming off the win against Vinton Schellsburg. So you got to be feeling good going into this. They're doing everything that they need to do. They're limiting Romberg. The people off the bench aren't getting as much value on the side for Thurn and Ellison. So South Tama's doing those good motion plays, getting everybody kind of confused there on the Mount Vernon defense, and it's paid.
Yeah, so far South Tama's had some good work underneath. All but one of the buckets they've had have come in the paint. Cade Rosenberger had a 3 kind of midway into the first quarter. And it's been a little more outside shooting for Mount Vernon. Meanwhile, they've got 3 3-pointers. Haverback has 6 total points. Stratton Ellison has 3. And you'd kind of look for Briesmeister to kind of establish the height in there a little bit against Bridgewater, but Bridgewater's doing a nice job of just kind of holding his own.
Do we know how tall Bridgewater is?
I don't have a measurement for him. I mean, standing him against Briesmeister here, I mean, I would say he's right at 6'5", 6'6", just kind of by the eye test. But no, I don't have a number on that.
I was going to say, because that's a good 2-3, maybe an inch and a half on him.
Yeah.
He's got kind of a little longer arms, but hopefully, not using that to advantage, and a good block out for
Rosenberger there guarding Fairchild, and he just kind of swats a pass out of bounds. But, a good way to kind of keep Mount Vernon out of rhythm is they're trying to establish their first possession here in the second quarter. And there's Romberg through contact.
That was a good contested play there by South Tama. You just got to let some of those fall. And you got to answer back on this possession, though.
Tynisma in the corner. Now Weiss in the other corner. Trojans trying to get it down low to Emerson Bridgewater, and it gets ricocheted out of bounds. It'll stay with the Trojans.
I mean, that's also another thing, too, is Mount Vernon's going to play some up-tempo man defense. So Dale Lash is going to take this top of the key. 10 seconds now less on the shot clock. Tynisma, 5 seconds now. So Cade's got to look for a shot here.
Gets a screen from Bridgewater. Jumpers off the mark from the elbow, and now here come the Mustangs. Fairchild in the corner. Romberg gets the screen into the lane. Floats one in. He's starting to heat up here a little bit. He's got 6 on the night.
Yeah, being a 14.5 points per game kind of guy, he's kind of on his way to that threshold at least.
And we have a foul on the South Tama end. It's going to be against Mount Vernon. And it's going to go against Cooper Parks. That's going to be his first personal.
Lots of turnovers for both teams right now, so it's going to be all coming down about what, kind of playing your tempo kind of a game. You can't force those turnovers. You can't force your own fouls. And that's kind of been the story of this 6-point difference.
So Emerson Bridgewater will go to the bench. And James Brandt will come on. So South Tama gives up some size down low as Briesmeister stays in at the 5. And I think we're having some clock issues here, so we're trying to get that worked out. I'd like to say thank you to our winter season sponsors. They include Berkwood Village of Tama Toledo, and just as I get started with that, we're getting ready to. So we'll thank those folks here in a minute. We're ready to go with some more action after the clock gets fixed there. Trojans in the half court. Rosenberger goes to Brandt. Cutting into the lane, hands it off to Tynisma.
Yeah, you got to get your feet planted there if you're going to pull up. He was just kind of
off balance on that shot. There's a long 3 by Haverback, and he's got 3 3-pointers. As he's been good to go here so far in this first half. 18-9, biggest lead of the night so far for Mount Vernon.
They're going to look to push the double digits if they can get a stop on South Tama. As Tommy's doubled up, and he'll float that one just a little bit too long. And that's going to be recovered there by Haverback, and he'll take it coast to coast. Pass back out to Fairchild. And he'll wrap it around back.
Open look for Haverback, but he rims it out. Rosenberger comes down with the rebound. Sprinting up the court through traffic. Can't finish off the fast break, but Dolash comes down with the offensive rebound. And Weiss trying to kind of scoop it up. Has it go against the leg of James Brandt, and it goes out of bounds.
So Shermer going to be coming in now for South Tama as Tommy Tynisma will take the bench. And Ellison will drive it the distance. Meister over to Ellison and Thurn. Thurn's going to think about it, try to get some offense going. Romberg in the paint. He'll dribble it out. Passes it back out.
Meister holding Shermer now, guarding against Parks, and Cooper Parks will get his first points of the night.
Yeah, it's really difficult when you're playing against a taller inside like that. They can just kind of take those jumpers when they need it, and they're nice-looking jumpers.
Weiss driving in, kicking out to Brandt.
Here's Rosenberger. Dish out to Dolash. Doesn't find clear out from the defender. And with that, it's too strong of a throw from Shermer. And that's going to be a turnover, South Tama. Again, just like the defensive pressure because of this taller, just on the net, Mount Vernon team is kind of putting the pressure on South Tama boys. Haverback's going to take it strong up to the top of the key, over to Romsberg and to Ellison. He'll dribble it out to Thurn. Haverback. Inside is Romsberg. He's going to dribble this one out. And a big foul, a shooting foul. And
James Brandt took the hit there.
Down.
He's kind of slow to get up, but he looks to be all right.
Yeah, just a little bit of frustration. And our first free throws of the night is going to be going for Romsberg. First one, nothing but net. That's another thing that South Tama has been struggling at, is at the line. Mount Vernon shooting 71% from the foul line, as Romberg will take his second. That one's too strong, and Bridgewater is going to get this one down for the rebound. Bridgewater is going to take it inside, dishes it up. And that's going to be a breakaway play there for Hinrichs. So Hinrichs with his first points of the night coming off the bench. Now Bridgewater is going to take it, look around, kind of take a little step back there over to Nisma. Nisma's going to get it dished, and that's going to be foul.
And one there. Second bucket of the night for Tommy Tynisma. Foul goes against, let's see here. Shermer checks out, Rosenberger in, Brandt out, and Daniel Weiss in for South Tama as Tommy Tynisma to the line for one. Still don't have the number on that foul. And it's good. First free throw of the night.
Yeah. Definitely going to help the percentage here. It's going to be dished out.
Thurn top of the key. Out to Haverback. Tries to get past Tynisma, but it's not going to work. Inside now. Thurn again into the lane. And Haverback has to back it out. Out along the perimeter. This time into the lane. Shot is up. No good. Right at the shot clock buzzer. It'll be South Tama ball.
Yeah, so that was going to go out of bounds there on Thurn. He kind of had a left foot down. And so it was either going to be that or a shot clock violation either way.
2:34 left on the clock in the first half. South Tama, have we gotten, let's see here. There we go, 12. They got scoreboards off. Yep. Trailing by 11 here.
I mean, it's doable. It's double digits, but it's a doable comeback margin. You just got to get some good offensive play going. And, of course, the three-pointer is kind of quiet for the night.
Cade Rosenberger will trot it up the court. Looks left, goes right to Dolash. Now Tynisma, top of the key. Into the lane. And a double team, and a three-pointer is good.
Rosenberger does it again. Now this time dished inside. And a foul called there for Bridgewater. You know, that was kind of a good finish. I don't know if I would agree with it, but it was aggressive play. So now this is going to be Haverback shooting 2.
First one is good. This is A.J. McDermott, it would look like, number 12.
Oh, excuse me.
Second shot for McDermott. Briesmeister picks up the rebound. Outside to the perimeter. Back inside to Romberg. He's had a double team pretty much any time he's gotten into the paint tonight. Now Briesmeister guarded by Bridgewater, excuse me. To Parks, top of the key.
Haverback will take it.
And it gets turned over. Swatted away and into the hands of South Tama. Rosenberger up the court. To Dolash, top of the key. Inside to Bridgewater. Just gets robbed at the rim there.
That was a good, tough play there. So South Tama hopefully can capitalize on this with 124.
Inbound to Dolash, outside to Rosenberger. And a whistle.
South Tama's not liking that one.
So it was initially indicated it was going to be Mount Vernon ball, but the ref might have, I don't know, pointed the wrong direction. Who knows?
Yeah.
It stays with South Tama. Rosenberger to inbound. Bridgewater catches the inbound. Quick shots, no good. Romberg the rebound. And here comes Mount Vernon now, up the court. Haverback. Top of the key, inside, quick pass to Romberg. Briesmeister can't get the inside shot to go. Scramble at the inside the lane there. Rosenberger scoots it out. Tynisma into the lane, it's good.
How about that? Good sequence of plays, good defensive play there by Weiss. And then a nice follow-up there by Rosenberger, kind of showing why. And a big charge called.
Daniel Weiss getting in the middle there, taking the contact, and he'll draw the foul.
South Tama slowly closing out that margin by 7 now. So getting a nice, really 5-point run there with about 37 left to play.
Rosenberger again. Up the court. Picks up the dribble near the three-point line, end of the corner. Tynisma back outside. Dolash, he's been quiet on the offensive side so far this game. Bridgewater at the elbow, guarded by Briesmeister. Back outside to Weiss now. 12 seconds.
2 seconds separate the shot clock and the real clock.
Fade away for Tynisma. Unable to get it to go. And we will go into the halftime locker room. Mount Vernon leading 24-17 against South Tama. The Trojans kind of claw their way back a little bit late into the second quarter. And we're going to be right back after this. We're going to give you some halftime stats in a moment. And here's a word from our sponsors. Thanks for being with us on Trojan Country. This is the South Tama dance team performing now at halftime.
Drive over to Frank. He passes it back out. He's doing.
I'm leaving you. All I've done, that means everything. Is staring you. Shout it out. Everyone should sing. Can you hear the sound of my voice? Can you hear the sound? My struggling voice, are you hearing me?
Welcome back, Trojan fans. We're live from the STC Roundhouse. It's halftime. South Tama and Mount Vernon in action here in Tama this evening. South Tama trailing 24-17 against the Mount Vernon Mustangs here in this Week 3 matchup. Some unofficial halftime stats. First, the scoring for the Mount Vernon Mustangs. They were led by sophomore Kellen Haverback. Haverback had 3 3-pointers in the first half. He has 9 to lead the Mustangs so far. Then it was senior Joey Romberg. He finished with 6. Most of those came in the paint. And the other scorers for the Mustangs, Cooper Parks had 2, Stratton Ellison had a 3, and Oliver Heinrichs and A.J. McDermott each had 2.
Looking at the other statistics here for Mount Vernon, Romberg has 4 defensive rebounds, Haverback has 1, and Briesmeister has the only offensive rebound for the Mustangs. Assists are 1 for Briesmeyer, steals 1 for Romberg, and 1 block for Parks. Free throws are shooting at about 50%, with Romberg getting 1 point off of that and McDermott off of a point of that.
And then the scoring for the Trojans. South Tama so far led, been a very limited players that have been involved in the South Tama scoring. There was only 3 players that got on the board. Tommy Tynisma finished with 7, and most of those came in the paint. He had no 3-pointers on the first half so far. Cade Rosenberger chipped in 6. Both of those came beyond the 3-point line. And then Emerson Bridgewater had 4 early on. And Mount Vernon kind of slowed him down a little bit in the second quarter. He came out of the game a couple of times, and things kind of got out of rhythm for him a little bit. He's gonna be key though. The rest of the game, the game changes when his body, his frame's not out there, and South Tama's forced to go with a small ball lineup. So Bridgewater going to be a key, and we'll see how Tynisma, if he can get his outside shot going, possibly to give South Tama a little bit of spacing. And the other stats for South Tama, Hunter.
Yeah, Rosenberger currently leads with the defensive rebounds at 3, followed by Bridgewater with 2, and Dolash with 1. The only offensive rebound is coming from Dolash, as there were steals, or a single steal by Bridgewater, and Dolash with the block, and then kind of set the tone defensively for South Tama was that big board block from Tommy Tynisma early in the first. So definitely looking for more from Bridgewater defensively. Of course, Rosenberger and Dolash, big bodies, veterans on the team. They also need to get in that point in the paint there. So,
a couple announcements coming up. Some events on Monday, December 18th. We're going to have the STC Middle School concert. That starts at 6 p.m. 6th graders, vocal music and band get going at 6 p.m. At 7 p.m. the 7th and 8th grade choir and band will perform. That will be at the middle school on Monday, December 18th. The high school will have their winter concert the following evening. That'll be Tuesday, December 19th here at the high school. That's 7 p.m. right here at the Roundhouse. Come out and support the STC vocal music and band programs as they perform their winter concert. Broadcast reminders for our next couple of games. We will be live this Friday from the Roundhouse as South Tama welcomes in Grinnell for a WAMAC Conference doubleheader. Boys and girls will be in action. We'll have full coverage for you beginning at 6 p.m. Getting ready for the girls' game. That's this Friday. Grinnell Tigers at the Roundhouse, boys and girls varsity. And then on Monday, December 18th, we will be on the road as East Marshall has a non-conference doubleheader against East Marshall. All right, getting ready to start the third quarter. South Tama with their starters back onto the lineup. It's going to be Emerson Bridgewater, Jeremy Dolash underneath, Tynisma, Weiss, and Rosenberger. Mustangs first with the ball. Here's Fairchild out to Romberg. Fairchild guarded by Rosenberger. Briesmeister, the big 6'6" center, working the outside. Mustangs making sure they get their right shot here. They're being content to work it around the perimeter. 5 seconds on the shot clock. 3-pointer by Romberg is no good, and Tynisma tracks down the rebound. Here comes Rosenberger up the other side. Tynisma, long 3. It banks in good. Tommy Tynisma Didn't like it, but it went in. A little shrug there, and Tynisma scores first for South Tama. They pulled it within 4. Here's Mount Vernon now. Romberg, fastball inside to Cooper Parks, and Parks finishes off the easy bucket underneath, 26-20. Bridgewater into the lane, has it stripped away. And all right, here's South Tama now in the half court. Tynisma gets it outside to Weiss. He hands it off to Cade Rosenberger, and Rosenberger rattles one through.
Definitely an up-tempo offense going off for South Tama.
Trojans trail by 3. Here's another three-pointer. A lot of long-range shooting here in this third quarter. It's no good. Weiss almost takes a piggyback ride on the back of Oliver Heinrichs there, but all is well. Trojans back in their half-court set. Tynisma pump fakes into the lane, a whistle. Looks like we have a foul against Mount Vernon. And that'll be against Heinrichs.
Yeah, of course, the margin now closing down to 3, so a one-possession game means a lot coming into the second half. Weiss is going to take this one, drive in just a little bit. Bridgewater is going to be triple teamed, and that ball is going to be taken away.
Loose ball on the ground, and Tynisma just kind of skedaddles it over to Rosenberger, and the Trojans somehow keep control of the possession. Rosenberger fires another 3, and an offensive foul called before the shot can go down. And it'll be Dolash called for his first personal.
Yeah, so just definitely things that we want to see continue to go. Hopefully get this momentum going.
And South Tama closing the gap here, trailing by 3. Anybody's game at this point, even though Mount Vernon's led the whole way. Trojans sticking around. Weiss, nice effort there, stripping the ball away, goes diving on the court, saving it. It'll not be a jump ball, and South Tama will keep the possession. It's a big steal there by Daniel Weiss.
Weiss is going to take this one right-hand side, guarded by Romsberg. He'll take the length, and that's blocked, and that's going to be called last touch by Mount Vernon.
A couple of reserves coming in. Thurn and Ellison will check in for Haverback and Gabe Fairchild. Rosenberger to inbound underneath the hoop.
Tynisma can't get the layup to go, and that's going to be rebounded by Romberg.
Yeah. Ellison quickly up the court, fires it inside to Briesmeister. Thurn goes up for a shot, gets his own rebound, and it looks like we have a timeout to save the possession. The Heat getting turned up just a little bit here in this third quarter. We're seeing a little higher intensity, more steals, and some more outside shooting. And South Tama still hanging around this 3-point deficit. It's been a very low-scoring game.
Yeah, it's been such a defensive game as well. Just the amount of turnovers, forced turnovers, forced fouls, that's going to be so important.
And a quick score update. In the second quarter, Mount Vernon girls leading 50-4 against South Tama. That's Varsity in Mount Vernon this evening. If you're looking for that game, you can find it over on the Go MV Stangs YouTube channel.
Now, after the timeout, and is going to be still your starters for both teams.
Thomberg to inbound. Haverback. And it'll be Ellison. Open 3. Air balls. And the loose ball gets thrown into Daniel Weiss, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Trojans, so the Mustangs save the possession. Thomberg. 3-pointer. No good.
Weiss with the rebound. One's over to Tynisma. Pass back out to Weiss. He'll drive into the lane. Kicks it out.
Rosenberger thought about it for a second there. And we got another foul. I think the way this is going, fouls could play into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something to think about already. You're within 5.5 minutes of the first second half, and you already got a couple fouls.
Joey Romberg picks up the personal foul there, and there's Emerson Bridgewater bodying up against Joey Romberg, and Banks went in for 2.
That was a good mismatch there. Got about 2 inches on him.
Ellison outside to Briesmeister, and a steal by Jeremy Dolash. Trojans can take the lead with a bucket here.
Rosenberger top of the key. Bridgewater is calling an offense, getting some help.
Tynisma, quick pass down low to Rosenberger. Picks it up, gets it to Tynisma. Pivot, banks in one for good.
South Tama with their first lead of the night, 27-26.
And Tommy Tynisma, a crucial bucket there to give South Tama what is basically their first lead of the game. I think they scored first in the first quarter, and Mount Vernon throws it away there. And they'll call a, looks like we got a timeout there by Coach Derek Roberts. Yep, Mustangs call a full timeout, and South Tama slowly, one step at a time, rallying back here. This has not been a big push. The scoring has been slow, but South Tama.
It's definitely an effort in the right direction. At one point in time, South Tama was down 11 points, kind of on the cusp of kind of losing it all, and they've been able to battle back. And that's the most important part about this. And now that they've taken the lead, they've taken the runs where they need to and kind of key possessions. And like you mentioned, Darvin, they've been very aggressive.
I'd like to say thank you to Berkwood Village of Tama, Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, Hardin's, S&S Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Appraisal and Realty Services, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Coverings, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark Wesson Hoyer Law Office, Assured Partners Insurance, Sharn Webbers, and TFD Photo and Film. All of our Trojan Country broadcasts also made possible by the Charlie Townsley Memorial. Thanks to all of our local sponsors for being with us this season. Trojans out of this timeout. They force a turnover, and they have the ball now. Cade Rosenberger walking it up the court.
To kind of note out of that, McDermott for Mount Vernon's going to be checking in.
Weiss now with the ball, top of the key. Screen from Bridgewater. Tynisma, guarded by Thurn.
I don't know if I agree with that.
So Briesmeister came flying in to kind of save the out of bounds. He threw it right to Bridgewater, and they called it out of bounds, but we're right at this baseline. I did not see him out of bounds.
I didn't see him out of bounds either.
That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And South Tama will give it up out of that scramble action. And the Mustangs come back with it here. They trail by 1. Haverback, the sophomore, guarded by Tynisma. Haverback was pretty hot in that first half. 3 triples. Haverback, a screen from Romberg. Driving inside. Pivots, gets it back out to Heinrichs. Haverback, three-pointer. In and out. Weiss kind of came flying in and tipped it to Rosenberger, and now the Trojans back on offense.
Again, up-tempo offense. Weiss is going to dribble it out top of the key. Looking for Bridgewater. Bridgewater defers. He'll go into the paint. That's a charge.
And it's going to be a charge called against Emerson Bridgewater. Good awareness there by the senior, Joey Romberg. Just kind of knew where Bridgewater was wanting to go and got the feet planted.
Yeah, again, a heads-up play, and you're going to give the benefit of the doubt to kind of the offensive player in that regard.
That's the 3rd personal against Emerson Bridgewater so far.
That's tough.
And we'll see. Yeah, he's not going to come out. 2.5 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Haverback, he's going to drive into the lane, and he'll get this one to go.
Floats one in. First bucket that's not a three-pointer for Kellen Haverback. And that takes the lead back for Mount Vernon. Rosenberger, a little shake and bake. through traffic to Weiss. Weiss can't get it to go. Romberg the rebound. Quick pass up the court to Thurn. And Thurn banks it in. Easy bucket.
Yeah, at this point now, you're down 3. Got to take it slow. That's a good dish out from that press. That's going to be a foul call.
Friesmeister called for a reach in there, trying to get the ball away from Bridgewater, and that will put the ball underneath the Trojans' hoop. Second foul for Briesmeister.
So
and
with
now
that, Bridgewater, who's in foul trouble, is going to be going to the bench. Brandt's going to come in.
Rosenberger inbound pass to Tommy Tynisma. Now Dolash getting a double team. Brings it back outside to Weiss. Weiss the screen from Brandt. Inside look. Fade away. Off balance shot there. Not a high percentage shot. Weiss thought he had contact, but no whistle. Minute and a half to go here. Third quarter action. Kellen Haverback into the lane, spinning, fade away off the front of the rim, no good. And a foul called. Rosenberger and Romberg getting after it underneath the hoop. Romberg will pick up the foul.
It's just the aggressive play that these teams have been playing today, but you also got to think about it. Mount Vernon, 4 fouls, 5th one for double bonus. You got to be thinking about more aggressive play from South Tama.
Rosenberger out to Weiss. And I think maybe Dolash going to get called for a push there. Yep, Dolash rung up for his second personal foul, and now South Tama gives it over on a foul call. Thurn to the bench for Mount Vernon. Into the game comes Stratton Ellison, the freshman.
Haverback's going to take this left-hand side. Dish out to Thomberg. Guarded by Brandt.
Thomberg just kind of gets around.
Just can't.
Big, strong kid, able to control the ball with somebody right on his hip there.
3 look for Weiss. Too strong. Dolash with the rebound. And the foul called.
Against Mount Vernon. 43 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Oliver Heinrichs getting ready to check in for Mount Vernon. And that will be Jeremy Dolash at the line. I think this is the first free throw attempt South Tama has gotten yet.
This is their second.
Second, okay. Dolash is good from the free throw line.
Yeah, the first one came from a Tynisma and one
there we go.
in the second half.
Yep, you're right. First one's good. Emerson Bridgewater checks back in for James Brandt.
Now
Bromberg and McDermott go to the bench for Mount Vernon. Dolash good on both.
Kind of closes the gap to 3. Haverback gets a screen. It's going to get blocked there by Tynisma. And kick out. Briesmeiser is going to drive to no avail, and that's going to be recovered by Emerson Bridgewater.
23 seconds to go. Cade Rosenberger trots it up the court to Daniel Weiss. South Tama would love to cap this quarter with some points.
That would be huge. Now with the shot clock off, you kind of got 9 seconds to make your motion. 3 look.
A 3 for Daniel Weiss, and it's good. His first points of the night come in the final seconds of the third quarter. Oh, heaved down the court by Haverback. Glances the rim, and we go into the fourth quarter tied 32-32. We got a game here at the Roundhouse.
How about that? That's really like to see that. Big clutch shot there from Weiss. South Tama's been able to play the tempo game that Mount Vernon has been trying to force on. I know Seidel in that first matchup, South Tama wasn't really up for that up tempo and kind of got caught off guard. You can see that they've gotten better.
Yeah, absolutely. South Tama has been playing well from behind today and not letting the game kind of slip through their fingers. They've gotten their offense going a little bit, been a little more aggressive in shooting. I've seen some, like Weiss and Tynisma, a little more ready to shoot the ball when they come down the court. And their defense has forced Mount Vernon into some errors that that has kind of kept the game chaotic and messy. And here again, we're looking at a 32-32 game going into the fourth quarter. This looks, it feels similar to what we saw in that Sadell game. Just a real low-scoring, kind of
messy affair.
effort. Yeah.
And, you know, again, with that Sadell game, it's going to come down to turnovers.
Yeah.
And those forced turnovers and fouls are going to reset, so no double bonus thinking yet, but you got to worry about foul trouble.
Trojans in their half court. Rosenberger to inbound. Weiss, Tynisma, Dolash, and Bridgewater. For the Mustangs, it's going to be Haverback, Briesmeister, Heinrichs, Parks, and Ellison.
So Daniel Weiss is going to take this dribble out to the left-hand side, looking for a man. It
gets picked off there by
away.
Cooper Parks. Weiss kind of telegraphed that pass, and Parks uses vertical to get up and pick it out of the air. Here's Parks again on the offensive end. It's out to Haverback. He's a good-looking sophomore. If we had a sophomore like that, I'd be feeling pretty good about things where he's at in his career. Parks into the lane, thought he got contact, and it will stay with the Mustangs. No whistle there. It just will be an out of bounds against South Tama.
That was a good aggressive dish out, and just doesn't seem like he was ready for it. So kick out Briesmeister.
It's going to be a long two, and it's off the back of the rim. Loose ball picked up by Heinrichs. Put back by Parks is no good, and South Tama back with the ball here. Weiss in the corner. Dribbles it around the perimeter. Open look for Cade Rosenberger. Not quite good.
Just off the inside of the rim.
There's a fast break up the court quickly to Oliver Heinrichs, and he gets an easy layup for two. 2-point lead for the Mustangs. Trojans back in their half-court set. Rosenberger gets a screen from Weiss. Out to Tynisma. Now a look for Bridgewater. Had a little contact from Heinrichs there as he was spinning around, ready to get it up into the air, and that kind of disrupted him enough to make the shot off balance. Here's an open look for Briesmeister for three, and it's no good. Bridgewater the rebound. Trojans quickly up the court. Early moments of the fourth quarter. South Tama trailing by 2.
Bridgewater is going to drive it into the lane, kick out to Weiss. He'll take it left-hand side, deferred to Tynisma. Rosenberger again, top of the key. Gets the screen by Tynisma. Looking to dish it out. Oh, can't quite get it, and that's going to be a takeaway there by Cooper Parks.
Second kind of intercepted pass that Parks has gotten, and another fast break layup for Mount Vernon. This time it's Joe Briesmeister able to get into the paint. That's his first points of the night. They come early into the fourth. Tynisma, and he'll go into the lane and draw a foul. And it will be
number 20.
Being against Heinrichs there. His second personal. He'll check out for Cole Thurn. Romberg will come in for Parks.
Our boys have been playing hard.
Yeah, South Tama has not gone to their bench very much. It's pretty much been a 6-man rotation. And they're holding up well here. I mean, they look like they've been playing for 3 quarters, but we'll see how they can kind of put themselves together here. A miss by Dolash, and now the Trojans back on defense. Whereas Mount Vernon, meanwhile, they've gone probably 10 deep at least.
Yeah, they got a good little rotation going in.
Romberg gets some contact, and one against Jeremy Dolash. And that will be Dolash's third personal. So now Bridgewater and Dolash working with 3 fouls.
And they're doable with 5:05 left to play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, plenty of time left.
So here's Romberg, and he will get the extra point made.
41 to 32. Biggest lead of the second half for Mount Vernon. Bridgewater draws a foul. It's not going to be a non-shooting foul as he goes into the lane hard against Romberg.
Yeah, they know that Bridgewater's that inside man. That was just a good collapse, but a good call.
Foul's going to go against Kellen Haverback, his first personal. Tynisma elevating, drills a shot in the lane. Critical bucket there by the senior.
So now Vernon's going to slow this one down as Haverback's going to just go across the Trojan imprint. And he's going to take it, kick it out, 3.
Ellison in and out, no good. Dolash the rebound. Good defensive set there by South Tama, and here comes Daniel Weiss. And Coach Craig Harrison's going to call a timeout, talk things over here as possessions getting to be at a premium here with 4.5 to go, roughly.
Yeah, just kind of missed those moments there defensively. Just that first breakaway point, our first breakaway points of the night, it came at a very critical moment for South Tama there, and they got to bounce back from this.
Quick update from the girls' game. It is all Mount Vernon in the varsity match here. Into the third quarter, Mount Vernon girls leading South Tama 71-4 in Mount Vernon. Reminder, we will be live this Friday. South Tama hosting Grinnell for a girl-boy doubleheader. We'll have a broadcast starting at 6 p.m. Good opportunity to come catch both teams. I tell you, when we have both teams in the roundhouse and get a bigger fan base in here, it really feels a lot more exciting. So if you're free, you can get down here, come support the Trojans, be a part of that action. And if you can't be here, we're going to have the Trojan Country broadcast live for you starting at 6 p.m. Facebook and YouTube as usual. That's this Friday. Out of this timeout here, South Tama with the ball, trailing by 5.
Rosenberger's going to get blocked out, and that's a far dish-out shot.
I don't know where not quite sure what the thinking was on that, but Rosenberger kind of passes it out of bounds, and it'll be a turnover for South Tama.
Yeah, that was just a miscommunication there on the inside man. He was kind of driving in a little bit closer. And
another behind the back block. Tynisma just kind of, he knows he's got that vertical, and he's been able to time that jump just right to where he can get kind of umbrella over his opponent. It goes out of bounds. Haverback tries to answer back with a 3. It goes in and out. Briesmeister pokes it out, stays with the Mustangs. Another 3, and a whistle.
Shooting whistle?
Not sure here. And that is going to go against Emerson Bridgewater. That is not the one South Tama wanted to get that foul.
No.
So Bridgewater picks up his 4th now. Trojans just with 2 team fouls in the 4th quarter, so they're not in danger there yet. And Romberg into the lane, and you got to look for the Mustangs to really pound the paint here with Bridgewater knowing he can't commit another foul. Tynisma into traffic, almost gets stripped away by Ellison. Bridgewater now at the elbow. Inside pass to Jeremy Dolash. Great assist there by Emerson Bridgewater. And Dolash finishes off hard at the hoop. First field goal for Jeremy Dolash in the second half here. 3-pointer by Romberg. High off the back of the rim. Good rebound by Emerson Bridgewater. Trojans with 3 minutes. They trail by 5 still. Rosenberger gets a high screen by Dolash. Slowly moves it up the sideline, double team. Gets it around to Dolash. Open look for Tommy Tynisma off the back of the rim. He's had 1 3-pointer here this evening and really hasn't got his outside shot at its peak performance, I would say.
But here, Romberg's, he's going to call the offense. Left-hand side. He'll dribble into the lane, and he'll get those points. Yeah.
Pushes off the momentum from Bridgewater, and a little fadeaway bucket there by Joey Romberg.
So Rosenberger now is going to take this up top of the key. He'll dribble in, and that'll be a foul called on, I believe, Mount Vernon. Yep, Haverback.
Second personal against Kellen Haverback. Non-shooting foul. Trojans inbound from the sideline. Time slipping away here, though, as South Tama has been unable to. There's a nice bucket by Emerson Bridgewater.
Sort of kind of slowly closing the gap, but less than 2 minutes to go. You got to
have an answer on the defensive end.
Exactly.
There's a three. And it's a good look there by Haverback. His first three-pointer of the second half.
And already the differential now being 8 points. Very doable with 1:51 left to play, but you got to play hurry-up offense, and then you got to get at least one, if not two, defensive no-point kind of possessions.
And I really think if South Tama's got some time here, but the difference, I think, when you go to look at the tape of this game down the road, is going to have to be the depth that Mount Vernon comes in to tonight with. South Tama's got some good athletes, some senior athletes on this program. Kids that are cross-country runners, got a lot of cardio built in to their game, but it doesn't. That's not a substitute for a full 5 other players that can come in and give you a rest. And that's what Mount Vernon's kind of put out on the court here tonight. Also, the play of Joey Romberg, he's really been a solid senior leader underneath the hoop. He's going to probably be the scoring leader tonight. There's Ty Nisma into the lane and the contact.
So an and one opportunity now for Tommy Ty Nisma.
Ty Nisma having a nice second half here. He's gotten a little more aggressive. And Briesmeister will pick up his third foul. Ty Nisma good on the free throw. 41-46. Trojans hanging in there. Minute and a half to go.
Romberg pitches it out. Top of the key. Here's Haverback for three.
Hard off the rim. Romberg picks up the loose ball. Tries to get it up. And Briesmeister will be fouled, probably by 3 different players there.
Yeah, get your pick there.
Yeah, we'll see who they call it on. Rosenberger says, please pick me. Don't pick my center.
Yeah, exactly.
And the foul will be against Daniel Weiss, it looks like. Briesmeister good on the first free throw. Minute 19 on the clock. Mustangs next up. They will host Center Point Urbana this Friday in Mount Vernon. Briesmeister good on the second one. And then next week they will face Independence on the 19th on the road and host Fort Madison on the 21st. Bridgewater gets some contact underneath, gets it outside. Weiss no good on the three-pointer. Minute to go here. Mount Vernon just needs to do ball control.
Rosenberger tried to go in there with some heat, get a steal and a fast break, can't get it down. And at this point, Mount Vernon's just going to play keep away. With this, that's going to be a foul called. So, going to take Haverback to the line.
Not just yet. I think they've got one more until they get to the...
Oh, yeah. Yep,
so
you're right.
That'll be the second foul on Ty Nisma.
So Haverback's going to take it long top of the key, and now we're going to the line. Or not yet. Okay.
No, yep, we're going to the line. So Haverback will shoot the free throws. 2 shots coming. South Tama with 34.6 seconds on the clock with a 7-point deficit.
But yeah, like you kind of mentioned earlier, like as a sophomore for Haverback, like get a little muscle build on him, get a little bulk going, and he'll be a star player here for this Mount Vernon team.
Yeah, you can tell he's played a lot of basketball, and Mount Vernon without its returning leading scorer from last year, Jackson Kutcher, on the roster. I'm not sure what has been keeping him out so far. We'd anticipate at some point this season he'll rejoin the team. But Haverback's kind of filled in that role as a kind of high-octane offensive guard. Rosenberger on the quick bucket underneath, and still a 7-point deficit as they just get the free throws back here. Haverback back to the line. And it will be third personal against Cade Rosenberger. Haverback good on the first.
Yeah, I mean, but kudos to this Mount Vernon team. You know, they kept their head in it. They played offensive basketball. And as Haverback's going to take that last free throw for good, Rosenberger's going to dribble this one out.
13 seconds. Bridgewater into the lane. Through a double team. Haverback got a hand on it, and it will be a whistle with 6.8 seconds to go.
Yep, it's going to be Haverback for holding. So Bridgewater.
2 shots coming here for Emerson Bridgewater. And South Tama looks to take the loss here as the deficit's pretty wide, and Bridgewater misses on the first. But you take away this is a quality game here that South Tama fought their way back into regaining the lead a couple of times in the second half. There's a lot to learn and a lot to take away from the South Tama team as they're just kind of still growing and trying to figure out who they are as a unit. I think they've definitely got a starting lineup, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Final score here, 52, South Tama 43. The Mustangs go on to a 3-2 record overall, and South Tama falls to 1-3. But you look at South Tama here, and a nice night for Tommy Tynisma, unofficially. Quick math here. 17, I've got him for 17 on the night. A nice night for Tynisma. Bridgewater, I think, is going to finish with 10, so he's right around his average. You'd like to see maybe 1 or 2. You'd like to see more Trojans getting involved in the offense. But on defense, it was a nice effort in both halves. I thought, South Tama was able to get Mount Vernon out of rhythm at different points of the night and did not give up mentally on the game, even though they were definitely the underdog. Mount Vernon has not lost a game to South Tama, at least going back to 2014 when the quick stats era kind of begins for this matchup. A good effort, I thought, by South Tama.
100%. That's just one of the things, it's a more experienced team. They were able to, be a little bit more athletic, a little bit higher awareness. And again, like you mentioned, Darvin, it's the depth. I count at least only 2 players from South Tama coming off the bench, and that was Branton and Shermer. And they were maybe in for a total, 2 minutes apiece. Otherwise, it's been full bore for the South Tama starting 5. Whereas Mount Vernon, they were cycling through about 3, 4, 5 players off the bench. Some of them were in for 5, some were in for 2, but you could feel that effect, and that's what's really important.
Right, and South Tama is going to see that against WAMAC teams that are going to be kind of loaded as far as numbers go. And South Tama, from where they came last year, they've still got to feel good about the numbers that they have out and the participation that they have going here. I think South Tama is going to be competitive against some of the WAMAC West teams, just kind of looking on paper. Vinton Shellsburg, Independence, Benton Community possibly. You look at Benton Community, they lose to this Mount Vernon team by close to 10 points. South Tama, a couple things roll a different way, and South Tama could have come out with a win here tonight. So that has to look good, kind of thinking about, well, how might we match up against Benton Community down the road? So in the WAMAC West, outside of Williamsburg seems to be the front runner. They've been pretty locked and loaded with some weapons. in the last couple of seasons. They got Derek Weisskopf down there. He's headed to the University of Iowa for a football scholarship next year. Kellen Cockrell, big athletic body and a whole host of other weapons. So Williamsburg is probably going to be the team to beat in the WAMAC West. But South Tama's a lot to take away and a lot to work with coming off of this matchup here against South Tama. Some unofficial post-game stats first for the Mustangs. Kellen Haverback unofficially finishing with 19 points overall. He led the Mustangs as a sophomore. Joey Romberg had a nice night. Finished with 15 points, 6 in the first and 11 in the second half. Then it was pretty balanced the rest of the way down. They had several different players kind of chipping in 1 or 2 buckets here and there. Cooper Parks finishes with 4, Cole Thurn with 2, Stratton Ellison with 3. A.J. McDermott has 2, Oliver Heinrich with 4, and Joe Briesmeister with 4.
Looking at the rebounds, rebound leader for the Mustangs is going to be Romberg. He has 6, followed up by Thurn for 3. And Haverback with 2, Briesmeiser with 2 offensive rebounds, and McDermott and Heinrich with 1 apiece. Steals, kind of 3 for the team, 1 block. So that's kind of rounding out the Mustangs.
And for the Trojans, unofficial point totals for STC, they only had 4 players registering points by my total here. Tommy Tynisma leads. He had a kind of a comprehensive scoring effort. Finishes with 17, had several points in both the first and second half. Cade Rosenberger next up. He had 11. He had 2 3-pointers in the first half, another 3-pointer in the second half, and a late bucket in the fourth quarter there. He finishes with 11 unofficially. Emerson Bridgewater finishes with 8, so a little under his average for Bridgewater. And Dolash, meanwhile, the only other Trojan, Daniel Weiss had a 3 in there, so I didn't get that. So Weiss with 3 and Jeremy Dolash with 4.
Yeah, kind of looking at the rebounds here. Rebound leader is going to be a tie with 5 defensive for Rosenberger and 5 defensive for Bridgewater. Dolash was able to get in the paint there, too, with 2 offensive and 2 defensive rebounds. Weiss able to get 2 defensive rebounds. Kind of looking at the steals, of course, the first steal came out from, I believe, Rosenberger. And then since then, it has grown to 4 with steal coming away for Rosenberger, Tynisma, Bridgewater, and Dolash. The blocks coming in huge for Tynisma, leading with 2, then followed up there by Bridgewater and Dolash. Another good point to make is to kind of tell how this team's growing going into this matchup tonight. South Tama only had 51% shooting from the foul line. Tonight, they will finish with 66%.
So some broadcast reminders for you. Next up, we'll have South Tama and Grinnell here at the Roundhouse. That's this Friday starting at 6 p.m. That's going to be boys and girls varsity in action. The boys team will travel to East Marshall on Monday, the 18th. We'll have that game. That'll be another boy-girl doubleheader. And the boys will, again, be in action on the road. Last game of the 2023 year. It'll be Vinton-Shellsburg on the road on December 19th. That'll be another doubleheader. And so thank you again to our sponsors, Berkwood Village of Tama, Toledo, Salt Creek Wind, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, State Bank of Toledo, Hardin's, S&S Car Wash, Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Appraisal and Realty Services, Robach Lumber, Stein Robach Floor Coverings, Medicap Pharmacy, Mark Wesson Hoyer Law Office, Assured Partners Insurance, Sharn Webbers, and TFD Photo and Film. Hunter, any last words before we sign off for the evening?
Excited for this matchup on Friday, doubleheader. This boys team is looking good. Hopefully get a couple more wins under their belt. They'll get there.
All right, well, everybody have a great night, and go Trojans.